Two Wisconsin residents are charged with using cyanide to poison, attempting to kill two women. It's a story News 3 Now continues to follow. The victims and their families are recovering.
And that story is eerily similar to one that rocked the country nearly a half-century ago. Tonight, a Madison woman shares how her family continues to heal from the historic event.
I was his little girl, so I went everywhere with him, right? So on that particular day, I happened to be with him when he took me to the store.
Kasia Janus was 4 years old when her dad took her to the local grocery store in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
In fact, it ended up being my last time with him.
She remembers playing around in the pharmaceutical aisle.
I didn't realize that where we were, the Tylenol, all the over-the-counter medications were right there.
Her dad picked up some extra-strength Tylenol, put it in his basket, and they headed home.
I was in my room with my brother when I heard my mom scream.
Kasia found her dad on the floor, unresponsive.
I said, "Tata, wake up. It's me. I know you're playing a game. Just wake up." But he didn't.
They'd been told her dad had a heart attack, but it made no sense.
My dad was a very healthy man. There was no signs of him being sick whatsoever.
She has a clear memory of being in her favorite spot in the living room when her aunt and uncle arrived.
My uncle, he just lost his best friend, and so he was shocked. And so he was like my second dad. Like, I was very close to him as well.
Grief-stricken, the couple headed to the kitchen and, thinking nothing of it, took some Tylenol.
I think it was just all the shock and the grief that he had to endure.
Soon after, her aunt and uncle both collapsed.
Next thing you know, I wake up and I'm in the hospital.
Doctors were afraid it was something contagious and had the family quarantined.
I remember being super scared because I had no idea why I was behind bars.
Finally, they put the pieces together.
It must be the Tylenol.
Lab tests confirmed the news that shocked the Janus family and sent the world into panic.
The capsules were tainted with cyanide.
4-year-old Kasia didn't know her family was part of a historic tragedy. 4 other people in the Chicagoland area had also died. Today, Kasia is vocal about her story because she doesn't want the 7 victims or survivors to be forgotten.
We don't really hear about how these survivors, when they've lost their loved ones, how did they survive after that? Nobody tells that story anymore.
Kasia's mom, Teresa, an immigrant from Poland, had to learn English and learn to drive in order to work.
She's the strongest woman I've ever met, and I always remind her that. And I don't think she realizes how strong she really is through all of it. Reflecting on how my mom was able to survive through all this, that it really took a community, it really took a village to help us be where we are today.
Kasia struggled living without her dad.
There was so much of me that I just wished my dad was there with me in moments that I really needed him.
It took years of therapy to realize she had guilt.
You know, if I hadn't gone down that aisle, maybe my dad would have still been alive, and my aunt and my uncle, and I always blamed myself.
But it turns out the Tylenol was on her dad's list. It wasn't her fault, but the grief stuck around.
For anyone who has gone through loss or trauma, I think they're always healing in some way. You know, it's never going to go away. There's always going to be highs and lows.
An open investigation more than 40 years later.
I do hear from the detectives once in a while. Something comes up.
But to Kasia, her family's legacy matters more.
And for me, what's important is getting to know more about the stories about my dad and my aunt and uncle at this point in my life. It's really important for me to find out more of who they are.
When Kasia caught wind of the story here in Wisconsin where women were poisoned with cyanide.
2 people are in custody after a hazmat incident in Madison near campus. The latest details in an ongoing Department of Justice investigation. It's all ahead on News 3 Now.
Anytime I hear the word cyanide, it takes me back, and it just makes me go, we're supposed to use these stories as a lesson. It was just horrific to hear that there were people out there that would do that.
But this local news story is just a small blip on the radar in her journey. Kasia celebrates a happy ending despite the pain. And when asked what she thinks her dad would say if he were here today,
he knows that I have the heart to be able to keep shining my light, to tell my story in a positive way. My mom would always say, "You're just like your dad," which is a good thing. And I'm really happy that I do have my dad's qualities, because this is what my dad would have done. He is someone who would want to help others as well. He would tell me to keep keep going, keep shining your light.
And thank you to Kasia for that story. Earlier this year, by the way, Netflix happened to release a special called The Tylenol Murders. Kasia declined to be interviewed for that, but says the docuseries was well done. She's happy that producers spoke with victims' families, some of whom have lingering questions about what exactly happened and who is responsible.